Please be advised that this video is for the sole purpose of entertainment. Any views are purely my own, are subjective and may not necessarily be true. I do, however, do extensive research for all of my videos. All photos have been found on the public domain. I am using them under the fair use and fair dealing guidelines. I urge everybody to do their own research. Well, hello, it's Murky Meg here. It's Friday the 24th of April, and if you haven't seen my previous video, please go back and watch that because this supersedes this one. So before I start part 2, I'd just like to interject with something that I have found, and it has blown my mind. Meghan is using a legal team that included Princess Diana's former lawyer. Oh yes indeed, Diana point 2. The barrister David Sherborne has acted on behalf of Princess Diana, obviously before she died. But isn't that an interesting little ditty that I thought you'd like to hear before I start part 2? Wow. Part 2 of Meghan versus the Mail on Sunday. Meghan's lawyers tell the High Court that the Mail on Sunday was harassing Thomas Markle in the first place, exposing him to the world as a royal scammer over those staged papped photos in Mexico. You remember the ones? Therefore, Meghan's lawyer claimed that it was the Mail on Sunday that started this dispute between Meghan and her father. They claimed that the Mail on Sunday intended to portray her in a false and damaging light, which deeply shocked and upset Meghan. They claim the Associated Press had obvious agendas to publish intrusive and offensive stories. Meghan's lawyers claim that journalists for the Mail on Sunday tracked down Thomas Markle and manipulated him into giving interviews. They say that vulnerable and fragile Mr. Markle alleged that his words were twisted and stories were filled largely with lies and rubbish, the court heard. The Duchess contends that those articles caused the very dispute between them, says Meghan's lawyer. Interestingly enough, that the defence for the Mail on Sunday, or the Associated Newspapers I should say, said earlier that he wrote to Meghan's lawyers on the 6th of April stating that today's hearing should be avoided if possible because of the pandemic that's going on, and offering not to seek costs if disputed parts of her claim were withdrawn. However, he said that the Duchess's legal team at Schilling's law firm replied on the 16th of April saying she considered it was unreasonable to accept the offer. Apparently, Mr. Markle had made it clear to Meghan that he was being harassed and humiliated by the defendant and tabloid newspapers, but particularly the Mail, said Meghan's lawyer. The Duchess's lawyer accused the defendant, which is the Mail on Sunday and Associated Press, of stirring up issues and meddling in the relationship between the father and daughter. Yet, earlier on in the court hearing, her lawyers actually stated that she had not spoken to her father prior to the wedding. So how she actually knows this, I have no idea. They continued that he said that the publication later boasted it had led the way in reporting about the pair. Now, Meghan's counsel has argued against that the additional articles published by the association newspapers about her should be taken into consideration in support of her privacy action, but not as part of the claim. So this is anything that she thinks that is damaging to her, she can put in as evidence. Her lawyer then said it is very much about the claimant's state of mind, i.e. victim status. That's my words, not theirs. He added that it was about the distress she feels about the realization that the defendant, i.e. Associated Newspapers and the Mail on Sunday, has an agenda, that this is not a one-off. It's all about distress. It's not about damage to reputation. So, in layman's terms, Meghan wants to be able to submit any evidence, i.e. any article that she feels has painted her in a negative light, to portray that she's been victimised and as part of a systematic attack from the Associated Newspapers, i.e. the Mail on Sunday. So, as far as I can read it, this is not about reputation or damage to it or what that has actually been said about her. It's about her mental distress. And in what she puts, or her lawyer puts, an obvious agenda to publish intrusive or any offensive stories about Meghan or Harry. which portrayed them in a false and damaging light. Interestingly enough, the fact that Jessica Mulrooney has been implied that she tried to influence an interview that Meghan's former advisor, Gina Nelthorpe-Cowell, had granted the Mail on Sunday has been brought up in court. The files were produced to the court, which it claims the Sunday newspaper's features editor complained about the intervention of Meghan's friend, with Harry's then communications secretary Jason Knaff alleged responding by saying that he would ensure this does not happen again. Associated Newspaper's legal team said the document it would seek from Meghan's communications relating to what it alleges that Miss Mulrooney's intervention and any other occasions the Duchess is caused to permit her friends to provide information about her to the media or to seek to influence what is published about her. So Meghan claims that the rift between her father and herself has nothing to do with her behaviour. It has everything to do with what the Daily Mail, Mail on Sunday, or call it the Associated Newspapers did. Nothing to do with her and all about them. Victim mentality yet again. So it seems that she cannot be held responsible at all for any falling out with her father. In response to the allegation that the Mail on Sunday or Associated Newspapers only published extracts of the letter, they are claiming that they were not dishonest in publishing only parts of Meghan's letter to Thomas Markle, because the text of the article did talk about a letter, extracts of which were published in the story. This is a huge chink in Meghan's claim that they only printed select bits of the letter. But if the Mail on Sunday said it was extracts, then surely that's covered their backs. I'm no legal expert, but if they've said it's extracts, then where is the deception? You could argue that they were aware of the whole of the letter and that they should, in theory, have published it all, but if they refer to the extracts, then they've covered their own arses, haven't they? So that is it. The court hearing has now finished. The judge, Mr. Justice Warby, is reserving judgment, but will have a decision to see where this goes ahead and what can and can't be included as evidence and who needs to be held accountable as witnesses within a week. So we should know what is and isn't going to be in court when a final date is actually set. As I said, this isn't the actual court date. This is a pre-trial, kind of iron out any grievances that either party has and to really settle down what can and can't be included in the court case and put their points across and their evidences. Then the judge will go away and sift through all the documentation and also the claims and the disputes and see how he feels that this can be pushed forward, if at all. It may well be thrown out. I don't think it will be, though. It will also be clear who needs to be brought to the table for witness statements and evidence statements. It's going to be an extremely interesting time. I'm very interested in the fact that Jessica Mulrooney's name was brought up, because I think she is a linchpin in all of this, because I think she is probably one of the five, but the fact that she had meddled in a Daily Mail story to try and favour it on the side of Meghan and have it look better onto her is extremely important, because that then cements the fact that Meghan has been trying to manipulate, or allegedly trying to manipulate, the media. That kind of counteracts this whole I'm the one that's wounded, I'm the one that's been distressed, my mental anguish has been destroyed, you did this to me, you destroyed my relationship with my father. If you're meddling in the media and trying to manipulate it, well, you're just as accountable as they are, aren't you? So that's the excitement from today's court case. I'm sure all parties will now go away and have a really long think on whether or not the judge will proceed. Each are wanting to go to court, but for very different reasons. As I said in my previous video, This has the potential to go either way. If Meghan wins, I believe the whole tabloid media industry will be fundamentally shocked to the core. And I think this could very well be the court case that changes everything if she wins. If she doesn't win, the floodgates will open and possibly they will go harder on her because of it in retaliation. I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. All I know is that I just feel so sorry for the royal family having to go through this. I'd love to know your thoughts on the last couple of videos that I have done. Do you think that Meghan has any substantial evidence or any substantial claims with regards to what the Mail on Sunday have published? Or do you think it's just a massive narcissistic attack and rage and complete temper tantrum because they are writing stories that she didn't want out there? Either way, I can't actually tell which way this is going to go with pre-trial evidence. Normally you can see which one has the stronger case, but in fairness, the Mail on Sunday have rebutted on quite a lot of their claims or her claims. I can't call it right now, I really can't, but it's going to be a very interesting time, isn't it? That's it for me this evening. Unless something massive drops, I'm off to have a barbecue and go out in the very sunny weather. Of course, abiding by lockdown rules, and it's in my own garden with my own family. I hope that you've really enjoyed this video, and as always, let me know what you think. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit the notification bell, and also that like button. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all of my followers for all the tips and all the emails, DMs that everybody sends to me. It really is greatly appreciated. So thank you very much for watching once again.